Oh no! My little bottom level is not correct. I am playing Splatoon 3 on Switch. Alright. Everything good now? Everything's good now. There's a big run. They did a big run this week too? Okay. They did the 10.0 update and big run. Excuse me, boys. Alright, let me get my chat monitor out. Oh, my phone. I'm good at this. Okay. Down. Here we are. Oh, there we go. Alright. Alright. I'm probably not going to do the big run, but I don't know there was one this weekend. I should just skip. Forgot I have the power to skip. So, this is the first crazy thing in this version of the game. So, they just did the 10.0.0 update. The 10.0.0 update also kind of coincides with the 10th anniversary of Splatoon, which is really cool. You can see here, the lobby is 60 frames per second, which this game does not normally do. So, like, this is all 60. A few other things that they upgraded were the jellies, now all animated at 60 FPS. Some of them would go at like really low refresh rates in the other areas. Not a thing here now. But not only did they do that, they also added a ton of new weapons. So I'm going to go visit Sheldon. Forget where he is. Oh, he's over there. Also, I've heard very good things about the motion controls on the Switch 2 Pro Controller. So I'm going to try something that's going to, like, normally would take it way off. So it did still take me. Like, I drifted in the process of doing that, but from there to there, whereas if I did that on, like, a normal Switch controller, I would have, like, been facing backwards. See, you'd think, and then Smash always shafts them. Alright, I'm gonna skip ahead. Because I just want to see the different kits for weapons I like to use. And I'll do that when I get there. But yeah, no, I think Sonic is one of those characters that in-universe is very powerful. And that just, I don't know, I feel like in everything he shows up in, he kind of gets shafted a bit. I also think he suffers from, he has a thing. And so, like, if you put him into, like, a racing game, it's like, you know Sonic's fast, so you feel like he should be a fast character. While something like Mario, he's an all-arounder. You can have him be the beginner character in, like, Mario Kart. But I feel like Sonic in his racing games, I don't remember what his speed stats are like, but I feel like he's usually fast, which isn't for everyone. So he kind of has this, like, slight downside of just, he's too good. He's too good at being fast, and then the problem that comes from that is new players come in, and they're like, oh, I know Sonic, and then they want to play Sonic, and he's not, like, a stat distribution that's very forgiving in all games. And I wonder if that's why in Smash he's not super good, is because they want to lean into the fact, like, he's a recognizable character, and if they made him too crazy or too overpowered, but with a high, like, skill ceiling, like, I feel like it would turn off a lot of people. I don't know, maybe that's their consideration they're making. they want him to be more like a Mario, but then they just kind of make him not good. Alright, so... the ones I'm looking for here... I use the Splatana wiper. I'll take this, but I don't know that I'm going to use it. Oh, this is new. Oh, that's awful. That is such a mean kit. People hate splatter color screen, so having that paired with point sensor on a ranged dually set, that's just mean. That's just mean. I don't know who came up with that one, but that was just mean. Exactly. And it's like, I feel like that sometimes makes him difficult to adapt in things, and that's why, like, I feel like he just doesn't end up... Oh, they have a rainbow arrow spray? That comes with splatter color screen. I want that one. Oh, that's so cool. It's just, it's not a kit that I like. Oh, this is new. Also, a lot of splatter color screen in these kits. I think this is new. I don't like that one. Ooh. Triple splashdown could be good, but the issue is, like, this is a ranged kit. Burst Bomb, I guess, is your up-close coverage. Triple Splashdown is your panic coverage, I guess. It's just, I don't know, I feel like Splashdown works better if you're on, like, a kit that you're really in the action with. Booyah Bomb. Well, the Stamper is not bad. Oh. Tenta Missiles on a Pro. Oh, that's kind of nasty. That's kind of nasty. I gotta try that one. Alright, what else we got? I know I saw a new... Oh, I heard this one's just a menace. Tentabrella Creme. Because that one, it's just a lot of things that make it hard to be in certain places. Super Chump Bamboozler, that's silly. Where is it? Ooh, no. That's okay. I'm trying to find it. Like, I'm looking through some of the different kits at the same time as trying to find the one that I actually care about. Because I know... Oh, I must have passed it. Alright. Zoom into the other end. I saw that there was a new reflux. That's what I want. I must have already passed it. I didn't realize it was such a low-level kit. Okay. We're at the beginning now. Unless, and the saddest option would be if I am not a high enough level to have it, but I feel like I have to be. I gotta get this just because it looks cool. So I come with the Kraken, which honestly, Kraken on a splatter shot doesn't sound bad. Like a mid-range with a close range thing. And an Octobrush with it? And Auto Bomb? Alright, I'm getting both of those. They just sound neat. No, I definitely saw that one. So where is my reflux? Did I pass it up? Oh, wait. Here it is. Look at that. Booyah Bomb on a reflux. That's like my dream. That's like my dream. I'm gonna definitely try that today. Alright, we got a bunch of new gear. Alright, so I'm gonna start with this one, but you know I'm gonna be using some of the other ones here as well. Whee. It's like, I know that we've got some problems around, but... Oh yeah, there's a lot of Mario 64 mods. I feel like you can do that with a lot of games and a lot of characters, but what makes Mario 64 such a common one is it's kind of like a, not a simpler game, but like I feel like it's easier to take his kit and put it into other things because it's so prototypical. So like I feel like it's like an easier thing. I don't know, maybe I'm entirely wrong. I could be wrong. I'm not incapable of being incorrect there, but do I have, okay, my other gear's fine. Should we see, what do I want to do? I kind of like this square shelf because this one is weapon specific. Alright, let's get my free one of the day, right? Or my cheap one of the day. Okay, cool. What ranked modes do we got right now? Tower control I like. I'll do some tower control. Though maybe I should warm up with not ranked. Fine. But yeah, I feel like there is room to do that. I wonder if part of it is that because it's like, I don't know, like maybe it's just because it's such an iconic moveset. But then again, like I've never seen someone do that with like, I don't know, like Sonic's more iconic movesets or like some other like 3D platformers and stuff like that. Oh my god, yeah, that sounds so accurate to what people would do. Well. Hitting the wrong button. I'm so out of practice. I should not have started with ranked. No! I was trying to get kind of around. We are getting stomped, and I'm gonna blame myself for this. I don't know if I should start with ranked. Ow. Alright. Oh my god. I saw the one, but the other guy was like below my shots, so I didn't see him pop up in time. Ah, jeez. Okay, definitely had some swim speed, my god. Ouch. Alright, let's get back here. No! I was trying to take that out and then get to safety. I could take one of them out, but here I am. Dying. No! Ouch. Well, I knew they were gonna win. I'm just happy they did not get full knockout. You know, that's really all I can hope for. So my opponents don't get a full knockout on me. Wow. I got number 1 on a few things. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna get a different lobby. I did horribly. Okay. Yeah, Sonic Adventure is a pretty simple one. The question is whether or not it's easy to make the physics happen, because it's possible that Mario's physics are easier to replicate. But I don't know. Yeah, I feel like a 2D one would be pretty easy to do. The biggest difficulty would be just like getting it kind of like, I don't know, getting it to match, and getting it to like line up with things that you want it to line up with. Because like obviously like you can put Sonic from Sonic Mania into something, but it's like, how do you give him collision with stuff? Do you have it auto detect things to collide with? How do you set that up? That might be tricky. At the same time, you could probably do it pretty easily on like a website because there's all these like very explicit types of objects on websites. And you could probably make it work that way. I would think. Alright. I'm gonna do one more with this weapon, and then I'm gonna switch weapons. Is everyone playing Big Run right now? I feel like everyone's playing Big Run right now. Nobody wants to play with me. I see that there's more comments that are showing on my phone. I have to fix that on my phone. So give me a minute. Once I finish this match, I'll be able to catch up on chat. For some reason, my phone does not wish to show me anything past the Saturn games. Ouch. I'm gonna land safely here. Ah, Kraken, you missed him. I was like, I got nowhere I can go. I'm just gonna throw a bomb. No! I was stuck behind that guy. I was trying to get past it. I just could not. No! 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 Ah. I think a bomb. This might be a bit dangerous. Whoa, whoa. No. Gotcha. Why are you over here? I have no idea why my teammate went over there. It's like we needed a faster path in, and bro just like hopped into like a not helpful area. Oh my god. We would have won that had my teammate not gone the opposite direction of the tower. Like, I don't know if they were trying to flank, but it did not work. Like, they didn't end up flanking. Which is a necessary aspect of a flank, is that you do flank, you know? You gotta flank if you want your flank to work. Fun fact. Is a necessary ingredient of an effective flank. Right. Necessary ingredient. Sorry, I flubbed something. There we go. Right. Alright. I need to change my gear. Oops. Okay, oh yeah, that's right. I gotta update chat, because chat gave up on functioning on my phone for whatever reason. Okay, here we go. Boopity-boo. Okay, yeah, I guess yeah, you can do that. I guess it's probably one of the benefits of it being simpler, is that it's not just a simpler game, but it's also simpler code that's easier to pass in. Because the physics would be part of the code, but yeah, if they're doing a full, we took his code and we converted it into this game's code, that would make sense. Cool. Alright, I'm gonna do Yeah, let's keep doing tower control. Okay. Let me look up the Minesweeper 4. So they can... I would say 4 is a navy blue. Like, it kind of gets a little close, because it is a very primary blue that they darkened. But I would say it's just like a navy blue. Honestly, as a kid, I probably played on phones more Angry Birds, but I did. I got Plants vs Zombies, like the DSiWare, on my 3DS, and I played that a lot. But I never like played it on like a phone. No! Why did you jump to me? That just felt like a bad call. Well, at least I took them out. Great. What? I refuse to believe they actually shot me there. What? Dude, this E-liter. I just get shot and they are lagging or something, because I don't think it's on my end. Because, like, I'll get shot, like, I'll just explode, and then they will shoot. So I don't know whose end that was, but that was not my favorite moment there. I would say Minesweeper is a logic game. Some people would say that that makes it math. Since math is heavily logic driven. But I wouldn't say it's explicitly a math game. I would say it's more logic that requires like a small amount of basic math, like the ability to know like, yeah, this is you know, a number of you know, objects. Like, I don't know. You have to be able to count the number of mines. I would say having numbers isn't what makes something a math game. I would say it's the process of having to do math, which you could kind of argue that counting is, you know, it's some addition, but I would argue it's more general logic. I kind of like this kit, though. Almost got him. I just barely missed that shot. No! The splatter shot landed. Or sorry, the arrow spray landed. Crap. Alright, let's throw that. We took the tower. Gonna try to clean some of this up. Get out of there. Whee. approach. My teammate just kept jumping in the way of my shots. That's not good. Yeah, we're losing this again. Yeah, I guess it makes sense that there's speedruns for it. I feel like there's speedruns for anything that can be timed. Like people will just do that. I think there's two reasons. I think that yes, I think they use the color to denote difficulty. But I think they also use the color just to help differentiate. People can process colors more quickly than they can read in most cases. You know, obviously it's not necessarily the case for someone who's colorblind or something like that, but I think when they were developing it, they weren't really making that consideration as much yet. So they were just like, what will help us communicate to people that, you know, this is this given number. And then in some ways they chose colors probably that were to help convey difficulty. But I think some of it was also just they chose the basic colors that you could do. Because a lot of old programs, colors were, you can use just a color. Like you could say blue as like the color for something, and there's a specific like shade of blue it will pick. You could say dark blue, and there's a specific shade of dark blue that it will pick. A lot of older machines and like some websites still use those limitations. And so like people would, because people know the color blue, like the word blue, they know how to put that in much more easily than they know how to put in like, you know, 00255, you know, or I guess in I guess a more accurate number would be like, you know, 00EE or FF, 00FF, you know, which is the HTML notation for the color blue that is encoded in things, which is 100% blue, 0% everything else. I actually think I got someone with that. Oh! I didn't realize he was using the ink vac. kind of like this kit on this this type of a match. Oh, ouch. Oh, not a good time to land on that sniper. Okay, you gotta get to safety, dude. Fall back. I'm doing much better with this guy. I don't know if it's this lobby I'm doing well in. Like, I have a good team here. Ouch. Crap. They're gonna pass us. That is bad. That is very bad. Oh my god, take out the person on the tower. No. They fell off, or did they just leave? I don't know. Basically, and it's funny, you would think that they would just have done it where it's like, oh, we have someone just gurgling water into a microphone. No. That is not how they do it. It's literally just a filter. They made a filter that makes it sound like someone gurgling water. So that they could just record everything where someone's just talking into a microphone. Okay, I liked this kit, though. This kit was feeling good. Even if I lost. Yeah, I feel like in some ways, I feel like that's a smarter decision from Sega and I'll tell you why. This is an issue Nintendo ran into, and Nintendo continues to get a lot of flack for, which, to be fair, I think they deserve some flack for it, but at the same time, I think it all stems from they probably should have considered some of this ahead of time. Basically, you know, Charles Martinet was getting older, and they couldn't keep him on as Mario realistically. And so many people are like, "Oh, they shouldn't have pushed him out. He wanted to stay Mario." And it's like, I think at a certain point, it's better to have your actor leave a role even if they don't want to, because they are too old for it. You know, he'd been in the role for a long time, and you know, I respect him a lot for it. But I don't know, you know, like he was a great voice for Mario, and he's super iconic. At the same time, like, you can tell from some of like the newer things that he recorded, like there were some people who were like, "Oh, that's not him," and it's like it was. It was just because he was getting older, and you know the voices were not quite as easy to do. The same thing's happening with like SpongeBob. Where I feel like the actors in SpongeBob, because the show has gone on so long, are starting to age out of the roles. Like, you can tell that it's not as easy for the Patrick voice to get done, or for the, especially the SpongeBob. The SpongeBob voice is the hardest one on the show. Like, as far as, like, strain on your vocal cords. I'm gonna jump to this further back spot. Oh, they didn't know. They didn't know. Alright, I'm gonna jump to where Comet is. But like, I don't know, I think having a bunch of different voices available kind of just makes more sense, because it's like then when one ages out, it's not as like tragic to the fan base, I guess. I don't know, like I think what would have been really nice is if instead of Nintendo kind of pushing Charles Martinet to retire from the role of Mario, if they had just committed to, yeah, you can still be Mario, but sometimes we're going to work with, like, the guy who currently voices him. I think it's Kevin Afghani, I think is his name. And, you know, maybe sometimes it'll be someone different. You know, and then other times it's going to be Charles. And it kind of depends on the game. Like, I think that would be a more ideal way to do it, because then they're not, like, I don't know, they're not pushing someone to retire from a role that they want necessarily. I don't know. Because they recently did that with Toad and Peach. I think Mario Kart World doesn't use the previous voice actress. So Kirby is a complex example. I feel like a big part of it is Kirby as a character is kind of a minor deity. Like, he has some truly, like, deific powers. You know, he's not just a cute little guy. He is also exceedingly powerful, and like, yeah, he does kind of have a singularity inside of him, but it's not even that. It depends on the media. Sometimes it's kind of like that. Sometimes it's more of like a pocket dimension that things he swallows get sucked into, which like could be kind of black hole like, I guess, but it's weird. Kirby is a strange character. I'm trying to see, like, does this change with angles? Alright. There were some people who were like, why didn't you guys make new assets for, like, the battle start text and stuff? It looks low res. And I was like, guys, it's because this is just a free update that added higher resolution support. I forgot that I don't have the, Ow. Did manage to take the lead. No! They're chasing me. Crap. They got way further ahead during that time. Not a huge fan of this kit, not gonna lie. I don't know, I feel like I just don't like those little splash bombs. I don't know what they're called. I get that they have a specific niche and that there are people who like them, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like I don't like a bomb that has very little splash damage. Yeah, I couldn't do anything. Oof. Definitely changing this this kit. I'm not doing this one with multiple rounds. Do not like it. Alright, different kit. Let's go. I was our #1 score booster. That's something. Nope. Mode's changed. Alright. Well, it's fine, because I was already planning to change this. Alright, I want to try the Splatoon wiper. I'm not a huge fan of this kit, but like it does have curling bombs, which I do like a lot. But I'm also not huge on Splatoon and ranked. It's Clam Blitz and Splat Zones. Do I do a series? I don't like Clam Blitz. I'll just do a turf war with this and see how it feels. interesting. I feel like that kind of thing does slowly happen over time with different fandoms, where like something that you wouldn't necessarily think would be a big deal sort of becomes one. Like, you know, in that case, like, yeah, 2763. What? Who disconnects from Turf War? What? Okay, so these are still at a lower frame rate. Like, I figured that would be the case, but it's interesting to see confirmation. Battle time! Alright. I don't like that special. I don't know. It feels like it's. It feels like the one that like shot like little ink tornadoes out from the first game, but worse. I think that was the first game. Maybe it was the second. Like maybe I'm the one who's wrong there, but I don't know. I'm just not good at this one. Like, look at that. That was like a direct hit. It went through their face. Ouch. We are not doing so hot. They have a dualies user that's just tearing through our team. Nope. Wow. I zoomed the entire way across that stage, distracting them, and my team did not get much ink on the ground at all during that time. Wow. That was rough. Least favorite. Yeah, I watched the one that you sent over. Least favorite game. That's tough, because I would say it has to be one that I've played for me to truly be able to say it's like my least favorite. Okay, also not a fan of this gear, so I'm gonna change this. Oh, I think I have an idea. So there's a game my brother had on the Wii that conceptually sounded so cool. It was like, wow, it was like a game where you're like a plesiosaur or something like that. It was like prehistoric monsters or something like that. I don't remember what it was called. That game sounded so cool. And I was like, oh, please, 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 can I borrow this game? It sucked. I see now why he was so willing to let me borrow the game. It was not fun at all. Bad game. Would not recommend. That is definitely up there. It's like one of my least favorite games. But if we're talking like least favorite game of like a series that I really like, a strong example I have is the Game Boy Advance Mario Kart game. I think it was Mario Super Circuit or something like that. Game is trash. Like, I don't care what anyone else thinks, that game is bad. Definitively the worst Mario Kart. Because here's the thing. It's not just a Mario Kart, but on a Game Boy Advance, which is not a console that should have a Mario Kart game. But it's also... Well, get two of them. Splattin Pokemon! But it's not only... Is it, like, just not a... ideal place to put a Mario Kart game. Like Mode 7 Mario Kart, or like for the SNES and the Game Boy Advance, those are the worst ways to play Mario Kart. So now take that, pair it with even lower quality versions of the voice lines from Mario Kart 64, and put it on a screen that is like half the res of the SNES game. It was just not good. And I remember I was so excited for the idea of it because as a kid, I loved Mario Kart 64. I loved Double Dash. When I found out there was a Game Boy Advance, I was like, that's so cool, and I never ended up getting it, and I was sad. And then I got it as part of the, the 3DS Ambassador program, because I got my 3DS when it was still expensive. Crap. I was trying to get out of there, and I just was stuck in ink. Uh-oh. It's probably not a smart idea for me to jump there. It's fine. I couldn't fire any. But yeah, that game really, it was not good. I got on the Ambassador program and tried it. I was like so excited. I was like, oh man, I can finally play that Game Boy Advance Mario Kart game that I wanted to play. And it sucked. It was not fun. It hurt my feelings. Not only that, I also forgot to mention the music in that game sucks. Some of the worst Mario Kart music ever. Like, actually ear-grating stuff. Alright, what else we got going on here? Yeah. I mean, right now, we live in an era where to port a game to a portable console, it just has to be, like, PS4 level settings. That's insane to me. Like, so many people have been, like, kind of like, oh, man, the Switch 2 is really, like, only the strength of, like, a PS4 Pro. That's pretty bad. And I'm like, okay, but the PS4 is an awesome console. What are you talking about? Like, the PS4 is genuinely awesome. It is so awesome, it's been difficult for Sony to convince people to even buy a PS5. Because why buy a PS5 when the PS4 is so awesome and is cheaper? You know, we're at the point where it's so hard for them to market it because it's just... There's another console that is... like, better than your current one, but your current one is so good already. Like, that was, like, around the time that the PS5 was launching, specifically, like what I'm referencing there. Like, how do you convince someone to adopt a PS5 when the PS4 is so good? You know, there's only a few games that are, like, truly PS5 exclusive that are, like, the system sellers for the, like, console. And I think Astrobot is probably one of the only ones. It's like, the rest of the system is just good to get, but, like, you could just also get a PS5, like, PS4 and get most of the shared experiences. And then now, we have all of these games, a lot of awesome games that came to PS4 that did not come to, like, the original Switch because it's so weak. Being, like, basically just stronger than a PS3. And then... now we have a PS4 level portable console, which is crazy. They were like, oh no. I just watched the entire thought process go through their brain there. Alright, so I will note, I did see that there were more messages in chat, so I will be catching up to. Yeah, I would say they have consistently done that since the GameCube. Or since after the GameCube. The GameCube was underpowered graphically compared to its contemporaries in some aspects, but it was faster. It was a 128-bit processing system. So even though it was disc-based, it ran a lot faster than the other disc-based consoles of the time. But the issue is that you get diminishing returns as you increase the bitrate of console. So, like, 32-bit, you know, for the, like, PlayStation 1 versus 64-bit for the N64 is a small leap, but then you go from 64-bit on the N64 to 128-bit on the GameCube, and it's just not super, like, it's not a huge jump. And the other problem is that as you increase the bitrate of a console, things just take up more space on that console. A 64-bit game only needs to store, like, numbers and data that can go up to 64 bits in size. Now you have the GameCube that's 128, and that takes up a lot more of your system's CPU, takes a lot more of your system's RAM as it's trying to load these things that are just twice as big. Even though it can do certain things better, it just ends up costing you and limiting you in a lot of ways. And so, like, the GameCube, while it was a technological advance, you know, it's 128-bit. The only other 128-bit system was the, like, not the Sega Saturn, the Dreamcast. Yeah, the Dreamcast was the other one. And the Dreamcast was also, like, really ahead of its time in that regard, and it did not help it. You know, just being the strongest doesn't always win. And so Nintendo shifted their focus after the GameCube's failing to, let's make something that's a little less expensive for us to make, you know, but that can do something completely unique. This is like the first time since the GameCube that we've seen a console that really just did more. Like, the Wii U kind of did just do more. It was the Wii but better, but it also had, like, the gamepad, which was a bit of a unique point for it. But yeah, like, the Switch 2 is really, like, one of the first times they've just made a stronger system in a long time. Which I think is part of why it's less exciting of a prospect than the original Switch was for a lot of people. But at the same time, it is just a definitively, like, much better console because it is so much better. But it's like, a lot of people are used to the Wii and the Switch being, like, these revolutionary things, so, like, Nintendo making a console that's not really revolutionary kind of disappointed some people. I'm just locking in here. Yeah, I think one of the downsides of the Switch 2 is Nintendo has to face the same problem that Sony faced with the PS4 to PS5 jump, which is, why get the better console when the previous one was so cool, you know, or it did so much for me? Definitely trickier for people to justify the purchase without... That was close. 17 points. That was one bomb away. Yeah, I kind of feel sad about that fact, because I think it was cool that there were two big platformer characters, and now there's, like... The rivalry between Sonic and Mario really only exists sporadically. You know, like, right now, you obviously have, like, right now you have Mario Kart World and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds coming out at similar times. So right now there's a little bit of a rivalry, but, like, you know, when Sonic Frontiers came out, there wasn't a Mario game coming out that everyone was like, Sonic Frontiers is better than this, you know? And it's like, I kind of wish that was more of a thing still, where it was like, they still had more of a rivalry. The rivalry is minimally present now. Wow. Some actually nice, decorated, laid out lockers. Do we have anyone with crazy stuff? Like, there's me. Mine is insane. This is just... oh, nice. Sad to see so few unhinged Splatoon players these days. Oh my god, wait, they put the sunglasses on him, that's funny. I didn't even know you could do that. Huh. Somebody spilled that drink. I've like never paid attention to the random things in this room. We got nice low res. Is that ketchup? I got ketchup and a drink just sitting there. So strange. Oh, I'm curious because they did add more like stars to things. What are some ones that I used a lot? Oh, where's the original reflux? The original reflux definitely should be pretty high. Well, it's dry, but how do I check the stars on a thing? Oh, no, here's the original reflux. I was looking at the reflux milk. Which is the one that I just got. I was like, well, there's nothing. Okay, I only have 4 stars. Is that the highest I have on anything? I feel like there have to be other kits that I have stars on. I don't know. I don't understand it. Alright, I'm gonna go keep using the milk. No, no, this is the original. I want the milk. Where's my milk? There. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. I feel like it's a fair assessment. I feel like it's weird because it can be, and at the same time can be very vibrant. It's a very strange niche that Splatoon falls into. I never really cared much about the aesthetic of the game. It was the gameplay that appealed to me the most. Like, whoa. Ah, I got them. I got them. Right before I died. They are pretty broadly accessible. Gonna try to clean up. As much as I can. Okay. That's the most I can do. Yeah, it is on. Yeah, they kind of took us over at the end. It's fine. Yeah, I feel like Sonic games do have a lot of accessibility. I think the one thing that disappoints me with Sonic games is just consistently I find myself disappointed with the quality of Sonic Team's work. Because it's like, and I that's kind of a thing where it's like, okay, yeah, you're a Pokemon fan though. Like, Game Freak's work has been shoddy recently, but it's like, Game Freak's work has been shoddy recently, and in ways that, like, I don't know, like, it's not ideal, but, like, you can kind of see why. Like, oh, Sword and Shield are a little weird because it was their first time developing an HD game. Oh, well, first time developing a full HD non-remake that uses the standard mechanics. So, like, there were some weird things with it from that. You know, Scarlet and Violet was over-ambitious for the quality of work they could do. I feel like the things that Sonic Team consistently does weird, though, are things like the game feel of the speed, or the way, like, the automatic camera follows Sonic. It's like, it's such weird areas where it's like every game they've ever done has moments where, like, Sonic goes some crazy direction and, like, the game kind of accounts for that by, like, having the camera follow you. And they've been doing that for decades. And they still, like, and that seems to be an area that they kind of mess up. They do these, like, linear animations. Like, if I turn my camera, you'll notice that, like, it slows down when I let go. It doesn't just stop. Like, there's a little bit, like, there's like a, not a delay, but, like, it slows down. There's a momentum to the camera. And Sonic games recently just haven't had that much, like, which is weird, because, like, Sonic Adventure had that. Like, the older Sonic games that were 3D had the cameras have, like, an easing to the start and end of their motions, but, like, the current ones, it just goes like boing, 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 like, at a set speed. Like, it's like you have 5 seconds to go from point A to point B on this arc, and it just goes at the same speed the entire time. And it's like, it's so weird that that's something that they didn't think, like, oh, we should make that like a smoother experience. And then, like, another one that comes to mind is in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. They have this, like, weird issue where, like, when you do one of your stunts and you rotate, like, you just rotate. Like, it's just like you're in a vehicle. Like, it's like you're on, like, a freaking rotating platform rather than, like, forcing your vehicle to, like, spin. There's no weight to it. It's just kind of like you're in the air and then you go, and it doesn't, like, it just doesn't do anything. Which, like, to be fair, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is not developed by the same team that did Racing Transformed, which had the stunt system, but, like, it had a an easing to the animation on like the rotations of your stunts. Or in Crossworlds, this is an issue where you gameplay wise, game feel wise. So like Sonic is a game where it's like, especially the racing games, there's a lot of risk versus reward. I feel like Mario Kart doesn't have risk versus reward nearly as much. Like on shortcuts, yes, but not in the general gameplay. Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed has a ton of risk versus reward decisions. Do I try to do one more stunt knowing that if I don't land it, I will mess up and lose speed instead of gaining speed? Crossworlds doesn't have that. You just like do a bunch of stunts and then you land and you go crazy fast. And it's like, that's probably fun, but I had a lot of fun with the risk versus reward system in the original Racing Transformed that this one is so heavily based on mechanically. And then it's just like I don't know, it feels like a worse version of it, which is so weird to me, because Racing Transformed was one of my favorite racing games on the Wii U. Like, I had that before I had Mario Kart 8, and eventually I switched to fully just playing Mario Kart 8. But I played a lot of Racing Transformed. I unlocked like every character, most of the vehicle sets. I played as an Amigo main. It was a very fun game, and it also had like really fun weapon themes. Like the items were themed, and then this one has an entirely different set of like items, and I'm sure they changed the items over starting in Sonic Team Racing. But like, I don't know, it's less exciting for me. And it's so weird that like Sonic Team has this like awesome beloved property that's so cool, and every time they make a game there's just like some caveat. And it's like it just disappoints me, because it's like the games are good and they have a lot of fans. And you know, they wouldn't have those fans if the games weren't good. But at the same time, they just have these like really weird issues that like it doesn't make sense given the history of the series. You know, it's not their first time making, you know, a Sonic game in HD. Why is the lighting so bad? It's not their first time making a Sonic game with as Sonic Team Racing. It is the first time they did one with stunts made. Oh no, because they did Sonic Team Racing and they did Sonic Crossworld. So I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. Or like Sonic Racing Crossworlds is a $70 game base price, but if you want the full version of the game day one, it's $90. Like, maybe that comes with all future DLC too, but my understanding is that it comes at least with the day one DLC. And it's like, Sonic Team, what are you guys doing? Like, I know they can do better, and that's what confuses me. Or like the time they had like the most inventive Sonic game they've ever had, that could have been a very cool and good game. They did not give the dev team enough time. I don't think that was developed by Sonic Team, but Sonic Boom on the Wii U and 3DS. Both of the games had horribly rushed dev cycles. And they did do a patch on the Wii U version, but it's like, it just wasn't a good game because they didn't have time to make it one. And then they had to release it, and all they could do from there is fix it. They couldn't make it a better game. And I was like, oh man. Sega's handling of like the Sonic IP is just like, it's so weird sometimes, because it's like, it's such a good IP. It's such a fun character. It's such a fun world. So many of the historical games are just so good. And like, people are always like, oh, you know, Sonic had a really rough transition into 3D games. And it's like, I feel like Sonic, it didn't have an entirely rough transition, but it never surpassed its transition enough. You know, like there's some really good 3D Sonics, but I feel like there's very few that people talk about more than Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, you know? Whereas, like, with, like, Mario, you have Mario 64, its first 3D game. And there are people who are really big into it, especially with the speedrunning community around it. But then there's so many people who are like, no, Galaxy. Galaxy is the best 3D Mario has ever been. And there's so many people. There's not a lot of people who say Sunshine is, but there's like a lot of people who are like, oh, Galaxy 2. Not even Galaxy 1. Galaxy 2 is the best Mario has ever been in 3D. And I feel like Sonic, there's no one who says, oh man, Sonic Unleashed was the best 3D Sonic has ever been. You know? And it's just, like, sad. I feel like Sonic deserves better. You know, like, everyone is like, oh, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 are the best. Sonic Generations is the best. There's some people who probably think Frontiers is the best. But I don't know, I feel like I haven't heard a lot of people hyping it up since it came out. It's just, it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a good series. Deserves better. Anyways, I've been just running in circles in the like main room there long enough. Let's just walk around. Oh. Okay, James. That's cool, fam. I'm just going around. It is Pride Month, so there's a lot of Pride Month posts. I feel like Splatoon, I don't know why. Like, I guess it does feel like something that would have like a really big queer audience, but it was just not what I was expecting. And it's just, I don't know. It was a pleasant surprise that there's so many. Roguelike Metroidvania, similar gameplay to Super Metroid maps. What, are you the developer? What are you doing? Hyping up a game in Splatoon. Oh, that's cute art. That is a kitty. I'm just gonna... I don't know. There's something so fun about just, I'm gay. As the entire message. Like, that one's good. Like, that one's just cute. It is Pride Month, and Juneteenth is soon. You are correct. Juneteenth is next week. For those who don't know, and I'm hoping I am remembering the history of Juneteenth correctly. For those who don't know, June 19th is, I believe, the anniversary of the final slaves being freed. Because a lot of people go like, oh, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves with the Declaration, or the Emancipation Proclamation. And it's true, but not everyone. But the amendment hadn't been passed. That was him committing to freeing the slaves fully. It was not... Like, they weren't freed yet. And it took time for each state to ratify the freeing of the American slave population. And thereby officially ending the American slave trade. And, like... that's cute. It's nice. That's cool. That's awesome. But yeah, like, so when it comes to like the the like freeing of slaves in the U.S. Obviously, the Emancipation Proclamation is a big deal, but it's not as big of a deal as... Okay. Oh, that's awesome. It's cute. It's not as big of a deal as the day that all slaves in the U.S. actually wound up being free. This is the one I kept seeing. I just thought that the game was just putting that there. It looks really cool. It kind of blurs. But yeah, so and then that's as far as I remember. I hope I'm not getting this wrong again. Not wrong again, but me repeating that I hope I'm not getting this wrong. But like, yeah, that's what Juneteenth is. So it's like, it's the true... some people have referred to it as like Black Independence Day, or like Liberation Day or something like that. Like, but not the one that the president had with his tariffs. But yeah, so very cool holiday. Okay, all right, chill, Chloe, chill. This game's rated E10. Oh. I cannot read most of that. I was something... I have no idea what that says. The art is funny, but I have no idea what that says. But yeah, anyway, jumping back in topics before I started talking about Juneteenth. So like, obviously, as much, shit as I've talked about, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, I think the game still sounds pretty fun, and I would probably buy it on my Switch too, but it's on a freaking game key card, because Sega did that with every... Oh wait, no. Wait, I rescind that. I think Cross Worlds isn't. Let me check that. Let me check that. I'm gonna confirm this before I speak ill of it unnecessarily. I was gonna start ranting about how Sega has all of their games on game key cards. It's weird. They have some things here, but I don't have things. Sonic Racing Cross. Oh, okay. It is not launching on the launch date. It will be available at a later date. Some people are saying potentially with a paid upgrade. I don't think it's going to be a paid upgrade. Sega has not done that for any of their games that are on Switch 1. I'm trying to see if there's any images. Yeah, someone pointed this out. Yeah, like Sonic X Shadow Generations does not have an upgrade path, so this one probably will not. So the game is supposedly coming to Switch 2 at a later date. I'm just trying to find any image of the box. Oh, okay, wait. From a recent trailer, Sonic Racing Crossworlds will not be a game keycard. The white banners are only present on game keycards, and so if it's not there, it seems that they are not going to do a game keycard. So, there it is. All right. So, never mind. Sonic Racing Crossworlds, you're in my good graces there. I'll probably get you at some point. However, everything else Sega has put on the Switch 2, truly egregious. I am mad at you guys. I genuinely want to get Yakuza 0, but Yakuza 0 on Switch 2 is a game keycard. And, you know, Sonic X Shadow Generations. I've not played a lot of Sonic games. You know, and I've heard Sonic Generations is one of the best. I would maybe consider getting the game, trying it out for the first time, you know, since I played the Sonic Heroes demo. You know, like, I don't know, I'm more experimental when I have like a new console because I want to play games on my new console. And I would like do it. I would, but here we are, not having physical games, which are my preference. I'm hoping that if Crossworlds is coming straight to Switch, no game keycard or anything like that, I'm hoping that that will mean that Sega is going to release other games on full cartridges. And maybe please, do Yakuza 0 on a normal cart at some point. Please. Even if it's limited time only, I will buy Yakuza 0 the second it is available for pre-order if I could get it on a cartridge. I know it fits. It is 53.7 gigabytes on the Switch. I googled it. I know it. It fits on a 64 gigabyte card. Do it. I'm also looking at you, Capcom, on Street Fighter 6. I would have Street Fighter 6. I would be playing Street Fighter 6 on stream right now with a version of my, like, with a character who looks exactly like me or some crap in the story mode. I would be doing that 100%. I suck at fighting games. I would have picked it up. I picked up Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition on 3DS when that launched. I did. And I played that game a lot. I would love to be able to do that on my Switch too. But unfortunately, another game, it's $50 or 50 gigabytes game key card. I know it is cheaper for the company to use a game key card, but dear God, just please put the game on an actual cartridge. I am actually tempted to get Cyberpunk on my next paycheck. Like, genuinely, I might get Cyberpunk 2077 on Switch 2 with my next paycheck. I could be getting it on my PC and playing it at 60 FPS there, but I want to play a game that, like, utilizes the mouse controls and stuff, and that's, I don't know, like, really unique in that regard on Switch 2. And that is the game that is. I can play it in so many different configurations. I can have motion controls on. I can have mouse controls on. The only issue is that those are, like, setting in the options menu, so you have to, like, go to the options to do it first. But I want to do that. I want to. I want more games on my Switch 2 that aren't just games that I already have played. or Mario Kart World, which I love. Don't get me wrong, I've been enjoying myself quite a bit playing Mario Kart World, but I like to be able to have like diverse experiences. And I think the first Switch 2 title that I'm actually personally interested in getting, that we know the rough release range for, is like, that's Metroid Prime 4. Honestly, you know, if Kirby Air Riders comes out first, like, yeah, maybe I might get that. But Metroid Prime 4 is very appealing to me. I'm not getting Donkey Kong. Don't plan to. Very cool game. Don't plan to get it. Not really my style. I feel like it's going to make some awesome content, though. I'm going to watch a lot of people playing that game. I don't know. At some point, they're going to have Kirby Star-Crossed Worlds or whatever it's called. Like that expanded version of Kirby, which Gwen really enjoyed. So we're probably going to get that, but like for her. So I don't know if we're going to get like the digital copy or if we'll get like a physical one that we could share. I'm probably not going to play it though. So I don't know. Depends what she would want. But like that's coming up in I think August. I don't know. Like I'm kind of in a dead zone post Mario Kart World, while I'm waiting for like other games to come out that are Switch 2 exclusives. And again, like I've been enjoying playing like other games, like replaying some aspects of games that I've played before and doing all that. But I would really like to be able to play, you know, in, you know, I don't know, like a new experience of some sort. I think that would be fun. Right now, I don't got a lot of those yet. I've not purchased many. I would 1,000% of Yakuza 0 right now. Yakuza 0, Street Fighter 6, Cyberpunk. Literally, if those were all on physical cartridges next week, my payday on Friday, next Friday, I would literally buy Street Fighter 6 Switch, or Switch 2. I would literally get Yakuza 0 Switch 2, and I would get Cyberpunk 2077 on Switch 2. But right now, it's looking like I'm just getting Cyberpunk because CD Projekt Red is awesome. And was like, yeah, we're gonna make the Switch 2 version fully on cartridge because I'm trying to save my space on my Switch 2 right now. That's where I'm at. But I have been rambling for like 30-ish minutes, I think. So probably gonna be winding down the stream. Trying to think if there's any last orders of business, things I'd like to talk about before I end stream today. I'm kind of tempted. I am a little tempted to get Welcome Tour, even though it's only $10. Even though it is $10. I'm kind of tempted. I have heard a mix of good and bad things. I think it come in with realistic expectations. I think the information in it actually sounds cool to me because I am that kind of nerd. I think one of the ways I've heard people describe it, this was from Kit and Krista, was the quizzes in the game feel like corporate workplace trainings, like how not to sexually harass people and stuff like that, where it's like the dumbest, easiest quizzes because they don't really care that you go through any of the information. They just want you to be like, yeah, I did it, and they can say, hey, we trained you. Like, it's the silliest, stupidest stuff. That is not what appeals to me about it. I don't really care about the quizzes at all, and I personally feel like it would be way cooler if there were no quizzes. But the tech demos are neat, and the just showing you different cool aspects of the console is really neat to me. That does appeal to me. So I might pick up that next paycheck as well. Possibly. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be a game time decision, genuinely, if I decide to get that or not. We'll see. Might get a GameCube controller. It might. It's kind of tempting. It's a little tempting. But yeah, that's going to be all for today's stream. So thank you so much if you joined me live or after the fact. Either way is cool with me as long as you had some fun. That said, I'm going to go do human things as humans do, and you probably should too. So thank you so much. Goodbye. Farewell. I hope anyone who's going to protest today, because I know there's a bunch of protests for like the No King's Day protests. I hope anyone who's taking part in those stays safe. Keep yourself and your friends safe. Don't get injured out there. Stay safe. Have fun with that. There's also, because it is Pride Month, I'm sure there's a number of Pride events going on, and there's some in my city going on today. So I hope anyone who's partaking in any Pride events, whether those are parades or just festivals or whatever, again, stay safe, have fun, because that's not a protest. You can have fun there. I mean, yes, you could have fun at a protest, but it's more of a serious affair. But have fun if you are taking part in any Pride festivities on this day and weekend. And yeah. I will see y'all next Wednesday, I think. I don't think there's anything that's going to prevent me from streaming. But yeah, I'll see y'all on Wednesday. I'm not sure what I'm going to do Wednesday. I might do some Mario Kart or something like that. But I know that after that, the following weekend, I'm probably going to be starting my next main series, which I've mentioned in the past is going to be Super Mario Mon. Which is Alpharad's Mario-themed Pokemon ROM hack, which is a very silly idea, and I've heard really good things, and I don't want to watch any content on it. I want to go in blind. And so that's my intention there. So it's going to be really fun, I hope. But yeah, again, thank you so much. I am going to head out now, and I'll see y'all next week. Alright, yeah, I gotta grab my keyboard, because I do have technology, but I didn't have my technology in front of me today. I had it to the side of me. Alright.